And welcome back to Tukuza. Welcome to church. Good to have you. Thank you so much. Earlier on, we had, the Sunday school, amazing children, lots of energy, House of Grace, Embakasi. And each and every Sunday, we have Sunday school right here. So we invite you again to bring your Sunday school. I remind you the email address that you need to send the request to tukuza@standardmedia.co.ke. That's tukuza@standardmedia.co.ke. And like we do each and every Sunday, we have the testimony segment. You love it. And I'm sure you want to listen to what God has in store for you today. Like we told you earlier, today we are having Pauline Kiraithe. She's the founder and the director of Talent Gurus 254. And she's going to tell us more. But today we want to focus on purpose. And how do you tap into purpose? How do you discover your purpose? How do you tap into it? How do you make sure that you pursue it to the very last end, that you're able to, now live it and be able to be a blessing to other people? What I didn't tell you is that Pauline Kiraithe was my HR director some time back. Every time you meet her, and you know how these things goes at the workplace. Ukiona HR director, unaona huyu anaweza kukupea memo, ama kupea warning letter, ama kupatia barua ya kuambia kimbia nyumbani. So today we are meeting on a totally different angle, and this is a very interesting conversation. Pauline?
Yes.
Karibu sana, and good to have you.
Asante sana, asante sana.
It's been, I guess, more than a year, right?
Actually, yes, it's 2 years now.
It's about 2 years now. Karibu sana.
Asante
I
sana.
think for the interest of our viewers, we will ask you to introduce yourself, and then we'll pick it up from there.
Okay. So I'm Pauline Kiraithe,
All right.
HR practitioner. I've been a HR practitioner for 21 years.
Wow, 21,
and Yes, and a Christian at it.
All right.
So a Christian in the workplace.
All right.
Yes.
A Christian at the marketplace.
Yes.
Or at the workplace.
Yes.
Yes. Pauline, I've just told you something here and you were also shocked. Huh? Everyone pursues purpose.
Yes.
Sindio?
Yes.
And sorry, I didn't tell you this earlier. I just told you that I also left full-time employment at the Standard Group sometime last year. It's actually a year now. And also went to pursue purpose. And that made you excited. Why?
The reason why is because I'm a true believer that in everybody God has put in a talent.
Right.
Yeah, so purpose is about you discovering your talent. Yeah, because we all have a purpose. There's a reason why God created us, and it's a journey for you to discover why you are put on this earth.
Right.
And then use that talent to actually bless other people's lives.
Right.
So when you told me you're also pursuing your own purpose, and I know it's actually aligned to what you were already doing, which was your strength,
yes.
It actually tells me that yes, God is actually working in the marketplace.
Amazing.
Yes.
Lovely. So let's get to hear your journey. I'm sure there are people even who are here who you used to give them contracts and so on and so forth, but they really don't have a clue of where all this started. We want to hear that so that we can build it up to where you are right now and just seeing amazing things that are already happening in your life. Where did this start?
So it started, okay, I can say my journey of living purposeful,
Right.
a purposeful life and an intentional life started from when I was in high school.
Let's start from where you are.
Yes.
Ulizaliwa wapi?
Oh,
Let's build it from there.
Okay. So me, I'm born in Nairobi. I'm a born city.
All right.
Yeah,
You're
born in
Nairobian, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
Grew up in South Sea. Here, just across the road.
Okay.
And I grew up in a family. We are 5 girls.
All right.
Yes. From a middle income family.
Family.
Yes. So for us, our dad actually inspired us, and he told us the only way for you to move forward is that you have to focus on your education. Yeah, so from this family, I'm actually inspired by my own sisters, because we're actually 5 girls and we've all been to university and we're all pursuing our different careers.
All right.
Yeah, both here in Kenya and in the US. Yeah, so our dad and our mom are the ones who actually instilled the value of hard work.
Right.
And focusing on what you are passionate about. So for me, this journey started actually from high school. I was an average student. Yeah, but from high school is when I said, you know what, I need to actually get myself into university. I need to actually be able to excel in life. So I knew if I don't get into university, there was no option. So I put in
That
a
is
lot of
very
work.
interesting. Yeah?
Yes.
And a lot of average students, we have a lot of
Yes.
average students. They
Who-
go through that. And it gets to a point you have to really say, you know what? I need to put more effort. I
Put
need
more
to,
effort,
Yes,
yes.
and that's what you decided
Yes.
to
So
do.
I put in a lot of effort and I actually made it into university. And I did a degree in education
All right.
Yes.
Which university was this?
at Kenyatta University.
Oh my, there's so much similarity, eh?
Yes.
I was an average student. My father told me, you know what, you have to go to the university.
Yes.
I'm glad I was able. And I went to KU to do education.
Oh,
Interesting
really?
enough.
Interesting.
All right.
So, yes, so I did at KU.
Mhm.
And through, when I started my university education, I got an opportunity through a friend where there was an internship program that was running for university students.
All right.
So that's actually where my passion and purpose actually began, because it's in this workplace where my first boss actually discovered what my strengths were.
Right.
Yeah. Initially, I started out as a research assistant, and I really, really hated
Couldn't.
the job because in the afternoon, imagine spending the afternoon in the library reading. So for me, it was hard. And he realized that I also had a strength in terms of dealing with people,
All
and
right.
organizing. Yeah, that I was a good administrator. So I actually put me into the administration and training department to manage it. And what he did in this organization, and which I really, really give him a lot of respect, because he's the one who actually now used to actually pinpoint our strengths, and actually hone on them. So he actually put me now to head that department. So by the time I was finishing university, I actually worked throughout university from first year.
Oh, great.
And so by the time I was finishing university, I didn't even tarmac. I was already running a department.
Wow.
He had already taken us for, international trainings. So for me, I was already
Amazing.
exposed.
You were too exposed.
Yes, I was already
Were you
exposed.
getting a
A
salary as
stipend?
well?
Yes, he used to even pay stipend. So I used to be the, the rich students in
In campus.
university. But the thing is, it actually taught me how to focus. So for me, in university, I didn't have any wasted time. So when I was in university, I was either reading
All right.
or preparing to go to work to
Wow.
deliver on my KPIs.
So how did you manage this? And there are quite a number of university students who are doing one or the other. Some and some know that I have gone to the university to learn. They don't want to do any other thing.
And actually, yes, and that's actually for me where I learned, and I quickly learned in my second year that the fact that you've already gone into university, you've already made the minimum grade.
That's
It
true.
already shows you're already smart to some extent.
Right.
So the key thing I learned is that by the time I'm finishing university, I need to come out as a balanced human being. So for me, that's why it was important to actually even keep my part-time job. And at that point, actually, I can say, and maybe my parents are actually watching, they didn't know that I used to work.
Oh,
Because obviously they would have told me, focus on your education alone.
very true.
Yeah. So for me, it was a balance. Yeah? It was
And
a
you were
balance.
able to manage
and
it.
I did it.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you're very thankful for that
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes.
And
that's where it all began.
that's where it all began.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So after that, so I worked for that organization for 6 years, and that's where he even took us for training in South Africa. I traveled my first year after campus. Can you imagine?
Umetoka
Yeah.
nje.
Yes, because he gave me the exposure, and I think that's where I learned, what, hard work and focus actually does pay,
Right.
and actually just, purposing and putting God within your plans. Yeah. So I went through that, and then after that, now when the telecom industry was starting in Kenya, I
Right.
actually started. I moved from
Okay.
the NGO and went to Kensel. So we were actually the beginners at Kensel. Yeah.
What were you doing at Kensa?
So I was actually a HR assistant. I was started
Oh.
at the bottom. Yeah.
This time you were around how old?
That was actually 2000.
All right.
So that was I was about maybe 24, 25.
All right.
Yes.
That's a good age
Yes.
to have a proper job. Eh?
Yes. So now that's when I actually met now the other person who really changed my life, and that's my career mentor. So the person who recruited me, the people who were doing the recruitments then were from PwC Consultants.
All right.
There was this gentleman called Abdi Mutwafi. And I told him, you know what, I want to be exactly like you. For you to get a mentor, It has to be somebody you admire.
That's true.
So for me, when I looked at the way they were professional and how they were carrying out their work, I told them, you know what? I told him, can you mentor me to become a HR professional? Because for me, I want to be a good HR professional so that I can be able to grow in the career.
Right.
And he actually said, okay, mentorship takes work and obedience. So I said, okay, I am willing to actually walk this path with you. And that's what we did. So just to cut the story short, he actually mentored me in terms of what education to take at what point. So he actually advised me, you know what, you have to go back to school. After finishing school, and somebody telling you to go back to school,
and
it wasn't
for you,
very
I'm sure
good.
you're thinking, wow,
Yeah.
I've just arrived.
Yes,
Yeah?
I thought, you know, I've done a
Oh,
degree.
yes.
I'm
Oh,
done.
yes.
He says, no.
You've gone to South
You've
Africa.
just begun.
You
You have
know.
just begun.
Wow.
So he said, you know what, you need to do your postgraduate diploma
Right.
in HR so that you have the professional qualifications.
Uh-huh.
So I was obedient. I actually went, I did it.
All right.
At that point, he told me, you know what, now you're a generalist. You've just started into the HR profession. So now we need to start moving you to specialized roles. Because for you to say eventually you want to become a professional, you need to have done all the jobs in that career line.
That's right.
So what I did, what he advised me, and how we used to meet for our mentorship sessions, is that because I was a lady and a single lady, I hated going to the car wash alone. So we'd meet on Sunday after church. So we go wash our cars, and he's mentoring me.
That's interesting.
So that's how we used to do it. So in the beginning, it used to be like every month I would have to meet him, because he used to keep me accountable. But over time, it has moved to even once a year or even twice a year, because obviously the mentorship is not that much.
Right, and you've also grown.
Yes, and I've also grown.
Right.
Yeah, and I've also now
Become
created
a
other
mentor.
mentors.
Oh, yes.
Yes, other mentees.
All right.
So anyway, so he guided me in terms of how to maneuver my career, and I moved from a generalist role to a specialist role. He also pushed me to push my boundaries, to also go into organizations in turmoil, to try out HR in turmoil and in good times, because how will you know you're tested?
Right.
So I even did the HR restructuring at Uchumi, the first restructuring program in 2005.
Let me ask you, Pauline.
Yeah.
I mean, getting to a place where you're comfortable, where you think it's working, you know, the systems are right, and getting into a place that is in turmoil and restructuring that, what does that do to you? And especially the very first experience for you, that's Uchumi, right?
Yes, that was the first experience. It was very tough. It was very tough, especially it's an emotional process.
Right.
Yeah, so it actually also makes you become more empathetic to employees. And especially when I was in Uchumi, these are employees who have worked for the organization for 30 years. They've never thought of even thinking of changing their jobs.
And some of them probably don't even have the right papers,
and they don't even
right?
have the qualifications.
Right.
So they say I work in maybe when they were 18 and they had never thought of anything else. So imagine you have to actually walk that journey with them and show them that, you know what, this is not the end of life. We're going to go through this process, but it's actually going to open up new opportunities.
Right.
The beauty about it is that actually majority of the people we retrenched actually ended up getting new opportunities.
Oh, great.
Yeah, they actually went back to school. Yeah, because they realized, you know what, actually I need to have skills that are diverse and that can be actually applicable in any industry. So it actually opened up their eyes.
Okay.
So sometimes tough things happen in life, but they are actually lessons in the reverse. So when I meet even my ex-employees from Uchumi, majority would say, you know what, we went through a tough time, but it actually built us. And many of them actually grew from that process.
All right. Do you feel when you're in that process sometimes as a sadist?
No, because you know the thing is, it's not you who's actually doing it. Yeah,
it's a process.
It's a situation the organization is in.
Right.
So you either fix it, or everybody, or the whole organization goes down. So it's actually how you manage the process, so that people can actually have enough information to understand why it has to be done.
All right.
Yeah.
And even you as a person, I think it's important to debrief as well, because you hear so much.
Yes.
A lot
Yeah,
of people.
but it depends on how you prepare the employees.
All right.
Yeah. So when they don't have information now, that's when a lot of all that
All right.
negativity will come into the process. But it's obviously not a good process.
All right.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah. So I went through now the Uchumi process, and that's when he also now pushed me. Okay, and at that point for Uchumi, for me to move to Uchumi, I had very clear objectives in terms of my career. And I'd said, you know what, by 25, I needed to, I was very ambitious. By 30, I needed to get into management. And by 40, I needed to get into directorship.
Hey.
So what I did, luckily, and you see, opportunities will come up, but they will be tough. But for you, if you are actually working towards a goal, God will propel you and present you those opportunities. So people say there's luck, but it's not luck. Yeah, it's actually also preparation and working towards it. Yeah. So what I did is now with that Uchumi restructuring opportunity, now that's when I actually got into management.
All right.
And I did it at 27. And yes. And that's when
quite a pretty
and that's
young
when
age,
that's when I got my white hairs. That's when the aging process began.
At 27, you're
Yes.
in management.
Yeah,
My
because
goodness.
of the things now. Imagine you're in management and you're doing a restructuring. And that's what we did, I think, 500 people. Can you
My
imagine?
goodness.
Yeah, but God gave us grace. He gave us, it actually was a very smooth restructuring. It was actually a very smooth restructuring and actually gave life to Chumi at that point.
Right.
Yeah. So after that, I decided, you know what? And it's 2 years. It was a 2 year of really tough hard work.
Right.
So I felt I needed to move to another industry that would actually give me now HR exposure now at a bigger level.
Right.
And that's when my passion and my love with media actually started. So I joined Nation Media Group.
Okay.
And that's why I did 7.5 years at Nation.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's when I grew up the ranks, but I actually started out from the training docket, managing training and talent for the organization, and grew to the point of becoming a HR business partner, managing the biggest divisions, which was editorial as well as the commercial advertising.
All right.
And being a HR business partner, what it does, it pushes you to actually now understand the business. So for me, I got to understand the media and understand how to manage people and talent within the media industry. And I loved it.
And I'm sure
That's
media,
where my passion
coming from
started.
Uchumi and getting to the Nation Media Group, the dynamics in media are different.
Completely. It was actually now managing HR in different levels, because you see, Uchumi had acknowledged workers. And then when you move to media, you're now managing knowledged workers.
Right.
So your skill sets have to change completely.
True.
Uchumi is more like a factory line.
Yes.
So you're dealing with humans in terms of how they are managing the process.
Right.
But here you're dealing with creatives and you're dealing with knowledged workers.
And
so you have to now engage with them at an intellectual level.
And more so in media,
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to talent,
Yes.
it's different.
Yes.
People have big heads, right?
Thank you.
I'm
They
sure
know the
Ndiema,
ones who are creative and they know they are talented. They know they are.
Oh yes.
And they will make sure that you know that they are.
Yes.
They are talented.
Yes.
So initially, the first year was tough, but what I realized also now to crack and how I managed to crack media was also understanding. First of all, they needed to respect you as a professional. So they need to see the value that you're also adding in the process.
Right.
So for me, that's what I realized. You know what? These are knowledge workers, so they need to also respect me as a HR professional.
That's true.
And after that, once they realized that there was value that I was also bringing on the table, we had mutual respect.
Okay, this question is, and thank you for coming.
Yes.
I need to ask it
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
How do you make sure that people who are very gifted, people who are very talented, get to respect you as a leader? You might not be talented as they are. Probably you're in a totally different line like HR. How do you make sure that they also appreciate what you're doing and they respect you?
I think it's the key thing is also now connecting with people. You have to connect with individuals on a one-on-one basis. So for me, that was the strategy I used to actually crack media. I got to understand the individuals on a one-on-one basis. I actually got to also understand their jobs. Because once you try to appreciate what they do,
Mm-hmm.
now they actually will give you an ear. Yeah,
Right.
but majority of us are quick to maybe jump into conclusions without actually understanding
What
what
exactly?
they go through to produce the work that you actually are
That's
asking
true.
of them.
Right.
So for me, that's how I approached it. Understand the individuals, know them by name,
Mm-hmm.
and understand the jobs that they
That
actually
they
do.
do. All
Yeah.
right. And it cuts
Yeah,
across.
and then once you've broken that ice and you know them as individuals, after that they
It's
will
easier.
start
Uh-huh.
respecting you.
All
So it's
right.
about leadership and actually connecting with individuals on a one-on-one.
All right.
Yeah.
So here you are, Pauline. You grow from Uchumi. You go
Mm,
to Nation Media Group.
yes.
You grow, I mean, through the
Yes.
ranks.
I do 7.5 years.
7.5 years.
And then an opportunity comes.
Yes.
Huh? So the industry, okay, by the time I was leaving Nation, what had happened is that Nation had become the dominant
Yes. Right.
media house in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember even when we were recruiting in HR, we used to tell people, you know what, there's no other alternative. This is it.
This is
So
the place
better
to be.
take what we are offering
All
you.
right.
So for me, I also got a conviction, and I felt, you know what, we actually now need to broaden the industry. We need to actually uh, give alternatives. It can't
Right.
be that it's only Nation that has the best workplace.
All right.
Yeah, we need to actually now start giving other options so that we can actually grow the industry.
Right.
Because what had happened is that the media industry had constricted, and if it was not being done by Nation, no one else was considering the other media houses. So there was an opportunity that came up now to actually become a HR director at Standard Media Group.
Right.
And for me, it was for the greater good of the industry,
All right.
and which actually eventually ended up opening up also KTN, because
Right.
KTN had actually gone through a tough time. The Standard Media Group had gone through a tough time where we had already taken all the key talent when I was in Nation. And so it had actually been drained of their key talent.
Right.
So for me, I felt it was an opportunity now to actually see and even test myself of, can you be able to actually redo what you've done elsewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
this
I
was an
joined.
opportunity for you now to get into directorship.
Yes. So in terms of my career, it was a plus.
Right.
But it was also a plus in terms of also testing myself, in terms of, okay, you've been under somebody else's leadership, can you now do it yourself? Yes, and so now that's when I moved into Standard, yes. And the test was there, for sure. The first year, I don't know even where it went through, but it was a lot of hard work.
Right.
But I can say by the second year, we even won, you remember we won the Standard Excellence Award of Best Companies to Work For.
Right.
Because what we did is we actually started changing the culture within the organization, started attracting the right talent back into KTN.
Right.
And now I'm very proud to see that the organization is actually now doing well and has good talent, and it's not competing.
That's right.
Competitively in the marketplace.
I think one of the things that personally I appreciate
for yourself.
And that I will be very proud of too. I did a training by Franklin Covey, 7 Habits.
Yes.
I think of all the trainings I've done my entire career, short career, that was a beautiful training. I was able to gather so much, and I keep referring, to the workbook,
Yes.
and just trying to understand. And so initially I never understood the value of training until I did that training. It was eye-opening, and for me it made me a better leader.
Yes.
And so your period at Standard, of course, had its challenges, I'm sure.
Yes.
It had its highs and lows. What was your highest when you were at Standard?
My highest.
For the period you were there?
For me, I think it was more of the transformation with employees. Because I remember when I joined the organization, there was the fear culture, and there was a lot of, you remember the blogs and the negative talk on social media about the organization.
Right.
But I think just with the culture change program, where we actually, you remember the barazas we used to do, the HR barazas?
For the different
yes,
groups.
where we actually shared the vision and mission of the organization and the values that we wanted to espouse as employees.
Right.
Just seeing the transformation from employees, where they actually where they started believing that we can actually transform the organization. that's why you started seeing the wins coming out, yeah? People started working as teams with even the trainings you're
Right.
talking about. We started changing mindsets, yeah? Yeah, and that's why you can see a lot of leaders also emerged from the system.
As well.
Yeah, so for me, actually just seeing that transformation from finding an organization that was lethargic and very negative in the beginning to now one that's actually positive and prospering, for me, I actually feel very happy. It's a high for me.
All right. We will be coming back with Pauline. Now she founded and runs an organization called Talent Gurus 254. She'll be telling us what that is. And we have something here that we'll also be showing you. This is, she'll be telling us more about this award, and we'll share more. And just trying to understand again what pushed her, being at a place where she's employed and she's, I'm sure she had a good salary and she had a good time. What pushed her into now doing what she is doing today? We're talking about purpose right here on Tukuza. Don't go away.
This is the mixed genius, DJ Sadiq. Your eyes spinning all around like they see it all. 1,000 years just like a day. Your eyes never closing, there's not a moment you grow tired. I've often wondered how it would be to have everything and need nothing more than all you want, all that you exist to be. Even when the world gets crazy, instead of watching it, keep my eyes glued to you and wait for what you're gonna do. 'Cause I'll be holding on to your promises. Yeah, I remember what you said. If I fight the good fight, I'ma be alright. If I ever lost my sight, I'll be alright. Even with my last goodbye, I'll be alright. 'Cause I'm yours and you are mine, and as long as I have you, I'll be alright. Even when the pressure's tight, I'll be alright. Even when the darkness bites, I'll be alright. 'Cause I'm yours and you are mine, and as long as I have you, I'll be alright. Yeah. Your love's stronger than even death. In your heart is the only perfect beat. Your truth is life and everything that really matters to me. I've often wondered how it would be to get everything and lose my soul. But what a tragedy if I lose you, I lose it all. Even when the world gets crazy, instead of watching it, keep my eyes glued to you and wait for what you're gonna do. 'Cause I'll be holding on to your promises. Yeah, I remember what you said. If I fight the good fight, I'ma be alright. If I ever lost my sight, I'll be alright. Even with my last goodbye, I'll be alright. 'Cause I'm yours and you are mine, and as long as I have you, I'll be alright. Even when the pressure's tight, I'll be alright. Even when the darkness bites, I'll be alright. 'Cause I'm yours and you are mine, and as long as I have you, I'll be alright. No matter what the people say, long as you got me, I'll be okay. Nobody can compare to you. Nobody's like you, almighty. I'm better, bigger, stronger. You are higher, greater, wiser. I know if you're on my side, I'ma be alright. Even when the world gets crazy, instead of watching it, keep my eyes glued to you and wait for what you're gonna do. 'Cause I'll be holding on to your promises. Yeah, I remember what you said. If I fight the good fight, I'ma be alright. If I ever lost my sight, I'll be alright. Even with my last goodbye, I'll be alright. 'Cause I'm yours and you are mine, and as long as I have you, I'll be alright. Even when the pressure's tight, I'll be alright. Even when the darkness bites, I'll be alright. 'Cause I'm yours and you are mine, and as long as I have you, I'll be alright.
Her name is Becca Shaw. The song is known as I'll Be Alright, right here on Tukuza. Karibu sana, good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can feedback at KTN Tukuza is our Twitter handle. You can also go to our Facebook page, Tukuza, like the page, and let's get to interact and tell us what your purpose is. Let's get to know what God is doing in your life as well. Today we are speaking to Pauline Kiraithe, telling her story of purpose, having started in high school, went to KU. By the time she was in campus, she was already working, got into Kensal, later on got into Chumi. A major restructuring process was happening. Later on went to the Nation Media Group, and finally to the Standard Group, where she was for how many years?
3.
3 years.
3.
So finally you're here. You've been able to do quite a bit, especially in terms of systems, you know, and putting people together. So at this point now you decide, you know what? I need to bounce and to get
Yes.
into something else. How was that for you?
So as I was pursuing my career, I was also pursuing a spiritual journey.
Right,
Yeah. So as I said, I'm a Christian in the marketplace.
right.
So I've always been a Christian, and my journey started from when I was in high school.
Uh-huh.
And so for me, I've always been a person who's been pursuing self-development. So I was pursuing God and finding out his purpose for my life.
You, right.
And so in 2009, I did the famous Alabastron Women's Program of self-discovery.
Right.
Yeah, and then after which I did, there was another program on purpose, finding your purpose, called Upskill to Upscale. And through that, that's when I started now exploring the conversation with God about purpose.
Right.
Yeah, because I truly believe there's a reason why you're on this earth.
That's
So
true.
my being inquisitive, I started doing now various leadership programs personally. So that's when my passion and my leadership journey started.
All right.
And I also did a leadership program, a 1-year leadership program with the British Council that even took us to Senegal just to meet other African leaders. Yeah, future African leaders. What it was doing is it was equipping future African leaders with leadership skills,
Right.
so that we can actually start changing the leadership conversations in Africa. And that was when I was in Nation. So when I got into Standard, I still felt the urge of still finding out and crystallizing on my purpose.
Right.
But you see, I'd already started getting an inkling of what I needed to do. And so for me, my journey was to work towards developing a leadership school, yeah, for Kenya,
Right.
for young Kenyans. And that was what I had gotten at that point. But I came across another Christian leadership program called the Purpose Leadership Forum that is run by Pastor Angie Murenga, yeah, and it's under the Kingdom Business Solutions.
Right.
And it's through this program now, that's when I was still in Standard.
Right.
It was a 12-week program. Through this program is when now it was very clear what I needed,
You
to
needed
do.
to do.
Yeah, and it was just basically, and also it was coupled to what I was doing in the marketplace. Yeah, because
So there
God
was
uses,
synergy, right?
yes, because God uses what is in your hands.
True.
Yeah, He
That's
actually
right.
puts you in places and experiences that will be a culmination of what your purpose will eventually be. Yeah?
That's very
Yes.
important. So it doesn't just
So
come
don't,
from
yes, so don't think that you will do something totally different
right.
from where you are. He's already given you those experiences, and that's why I was excited about hearing your purpose,
Right.
because it's very aligned to what you're already doing.
Oh, it's already
Yes.
happening. That's true.
Yeah, so God actually orders your steps and gives you the right opportunities that will actually crystallize and actually aid into your purpose. So when I did the PLF forum, yeah, is when I now realized, okay, actually my purpose was actually coupled with my HR experience.
Right.
I realized that there are actually 87%, according to Gallup survey,
Right.
which is an international research survey.
That's true.
It actually says 87% of the people who are working actually are disengaged in their jobs. So from a HR point of view, I looked at it and I said, you know what, that's a huge figure.
Oh, yes.
And then I also reflected on my HR journey, and I realized also, when I was in HR, what I was trying to do was to make people love their jobs. Yeah? And that's what we used to put
All
in the
through.
performance management systems. We used to
Right.
put in a lot of motivational award schemes. You remember the award schemes we
Yes.
used to have?
Yes.
Yeah, to try and make people love their jobs. But for me, I said, you know what, we're going to change that paradigm shift, change that thinking, and I was like, why can people come to work already motivated?
Oh, yes.
actually you should self-motivate.
By the time you're
Yes.
getting there,
Why
it's
should
exciting.
somebody motivate you to love your job?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I just looked back and did a lot of also research and realized actually the issue was how we select our careers. Are we in the right careers? Are we where we're passionate?
Right.
Are we using our key talents and our key skills? And that's actually what bore the program, the youth program, the
Right.
Ignite Youth program. Because for me, I truly am convinced that the way we select and help our children select their careers
True.
is the wrong way. How we used to select careers was
Yeah.
either what you qualified and
Oh yes.
job gave you.
Oh yes. What?
Yes.
That's very true.
So we were not given a choice to select. The other
Yeah.
second thing is either your parents looked
Wanted
at who
you
was the most successful in the
Oh
village.
yes, and then
And
they
that's
say
the
pursue
career you
that.
would yes,
Wow.
select.
Mm-hmm.
So through the PLF program, it was very clear for me, actually my calling is actually in education. And it was actually to influence people in terms of now living purposeful lives, in terms of discovering what their talents are.
Right.
And selecting their careers as early as possible.
Right.
And so that's why we actually developed now the Ignite Youth Leadership Program. And now the second program is now for the older people who've already made the mistakes, the 87 who are demotivated in their jobs,
Right.
is can they get into this program and now rediscover what they're good at,
Right.
and now actively start looking for the right experiences in the workplace to align them now to their talents.
To their talent
Because
and giftings.
you can imagine if we just moved that percentage of 87 down to even 50, productivity will increase
change
in the
big
workplace.
time.
Innovation comes back.
Oh yes.
And that's why you can see there's a lot of even retrenchments happening across the Kenyan industry. Reason being, majority of the Kenyan employees work for the pay slip.
Right.
It's not because they're
Very
passionate.
unfortunate. Yeah.
It's not because they're passionate, but it's because
I need to put
they
food
just want
and
to
pay my
earn that
bills.
money.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a lose-lose situation, because the employee is not motivated.
Right.
Yeah, they're not giving you their best, and then you as the employer, you're pushing this employee to deliver.
Right.
So it's for us to now try and see how can we change this. So it's actually now changing and taking back the responsibility of motivation back to the employee.
Right, to the employee.
Yeah.
And so you were pushed eventually as we wind up to
Yes.
your purpose.
Yes.
And finally, I mean, there's this award
Yes.
that you were able to win. It's the Global Training and Development Leadership Awards.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
So, this is an award that was organized by the World HRD
All right.
Conference, and it's an organization that's been in existence for 25 years. So this organization is based in Mumbai, in India.
Right.
And what they do is they actually scout for HR practitioners across the world who are doing things that are different.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's great.
especially with the new thinking of what we are doing with talent gurus,
Right.
it's actually a paradigm shift from the normal thinking of what we do in HR, because now we're actually trying to change the thinking in terms of how we motivate staff.
Right.
Yeah. So what they do is they look out for people who have proven track record as HR practitioners, people who have come up with innovative ways of solving HR issues, and people who are actually thought leaders and people who are looking to actually change,
Right.
change the areas or the spheres they are in.
Right.
And so through that, they actually do a lot of, they have a global research council where they actually research on HR practitioners across the world. And in this conference, the one I attended, there were actually 1,400 participants.
Wow.
From
Those are
138 countries across the world.
Uh-huh.
So they actually now select and see who are the people who are doing something
different.
that is different and they're
Yes.
passionate about.
Right.
So they actually track your history and see if you actually have track record. So that's how I actually ended up being nominated on that.
And it's amazing that, they scout.
Yes.
So this can't be fake.
Yes. And you've not lobbied.
Oh, you've not,
completely.
I mean, you've not lobbied, you've not
Yeah.
asked for votes. Someone
Yeah.
has decided, you know what, let's go out there and look for something that and someone who's making a difference out here.
Yeah, but the other thing I would want to actually just add in, I think it's at the point where you follow your purpose.
Right.
I think that's when now even God checks in, eh? Just
I
to
like
also
that.
confirm,
Yes.
you know what, you're actually
On the right
on
track,
the right track.
doing the right thing.
Yes.
And God rewards you.
Yes.
And you know, I mean, following the right thing and helping people, changing situations,
Yes.
the paradigm shift,
Yes.
you also find your good things
Yes.
within that. So congratulations for this,
Thank
Pauline.
you.
I think this is a good thing. I'm sure this
Yes.
will remind you that you need to continue
Yes. Influence.
pursuing and influencing, pursuing your purpose and influencing, so that we have better people, people who are doing and influencing others and doing better things
Yes.
for a better world today. So great. We look forward to more awards, you know, in the days to come.
Yes.
And as we wind up, Pauline, I think it will be important for you to just mention, why is it important, again, for me to pursue purpose and to pursue purpose the right way? And why is it important for me to, you know, to keep moving? I like my friend challenges me and me every time and tells me, it is in the going. It is never, you know, you being there. Just keep going, keep doing it. That's your camera. I mean, give us your final challenge as we wind up.
Yes. So my final challenge is, yes, it's very important for everybody to discover what they're good at. And as I started out by saying, everybody has a talent. God put a talent in each one of us. So the key thing is to now discover, and it's actually an active process for you to discover what your key strengths are and what your talent is. And once you discover it, that's actually what God has put in you to actually bless other people.
Right.
Yeah, so it's how are you going to use that talent to actually be a change agent, an influencer of society. Yeah, so it's actually God's gift to you. So for me, my prayer is that everybody will actually live intentional and purposeful lives. And I would actually would be very happy to also engage with people
Right.
through talent gurus,
All right.
so that we can actually help you in this journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this. I will love to engage myself. So how do people get in touch?
Yes, we have a website. It's
All right.
called the website's name is www.talentgurus.com.
All right.
Yes.
www.talentgurus254.
Gurus254.com. Yeah.
All right. Talent, of course, is talent.
Yes.
Gurus, GURUS254.com.
.com.
So www.talentgurus254.com. So go check it out. I'm sure you need to grow in many ways. And thank God that you're here also to facilitate and to help
Yes.
in one way or the other.
Yes.
Pauline, we appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming through. And we wish you well
Yes.
as you continue living purpose to inspire other people to live their purposes
Yes.
and also to inspire others to live their purposes as well.
Yes.
Asante sana.
Asante.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
for
God
having
bless
me.
you.
Thank
Karibu
you.
tena.
Asante.
All right, that was Pauline Kiraithe, founder and director at Talent Gurus. Remember, you can check it out, www.talentgurus254.com. And, you know, let's live our purposes so that we can be a blessing to someone. And as we become a blessing to someone, God will keep rewarding us. And we will keep, you know, living fulfilled lives as well. We'll be coming on later on, and we'll be having a Pastor